And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
We are back, the Weighing In Podcast, coming to you from another hotel room because we're on the road way too much. My man Josh Thompson has been tearing up the islands of Hawaii, tearing up people that are doing stupid things. Getting himself into Mike Tyson-like trouble. I love that. And we're going to sit here and talk about some of the fights that went on this weekend. We had a plethora of fights. We had the PFL, we had Bellator. We did have the UFC also. And we also had boxing with Tyson Fury taking on Dillian Whyte. What do you think? What should we talk about first?
Let's talk Tyson Fury real quick. I think Tyson Fury basically announced his retirement in the back locker room.
That ain't happening.
Yeah.
Liar!
He seems like a man of his word.
Oh, I love it.
I'm just being honest.
Retired.
I mean, I think if there's a fight that does present itself, like the Anthony Joshua fight, if that one comes about, maybe the Jake Paul fight. Love to see that. I'd love to see that fight.
Oh, that would be That would be both horrible and unbelievably fantastic.
Be so amazing. So amazing. Maybe him and Logan Paul together.
I think we should start that.
That you see the Russian fights
where there's like where they got three guys on one or something like that.
You get Jake Paul, Logan Paul against Tyson Fury. I don't know. Logan's got wrestling.
Yeah, but it's a boxing match. They have to box him.
Yeah, I think Tyson could beat him.
I think Tyson beats them both together.
In MMA also. just what's that? Remember the thing? Remember the game where the creature came up out of the thing and you had to hit it? Was it
whack-a-mole?
Whatever.
Whack-a-mole.
What's it called? Whack-a-mole?
It's whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
He would just be like,
Logan would go this way and he'd like bam, and then Jake would go this way, bam, and then it just Big Brother stuff. All right, this podcast is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. John, MyBookie.ag. We actually made a lot of people some money this week by using our promo code Weighing In. Go to MyBookie.ag. You could have made some good money off the fact that Arlene Blanco, she went the distance with Cyborg. Not only that, she gave her a hell of a fight. We talked about the improvements. We talked about what her game plan may be going into this. And she came out and performed.
Also talked about Justine Kish being a tough fight for Lima.
Yes, that was a big win. If you guys went to mybookie.ag,
a lot of money
took that fight, and you guys put some money down, $100, $200, whatever it was.
You would have won like 300 or 400.
You would have won some money there. So on top of all that, go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code Weighing In. There's also a QR code that Podcast Dave will put up. It's a little bit, I think, this direction. So you guys hit on that QR code, which is that way right there. Use our promo code Weighing In. They'll give you a little extra spending cash with your first initial buy-in. And hopefully you guys can use that little extra spending cash to make some good money and
make big money and buy a new home.
Big money, buy a new home, yeah. With interest rates going up. But whatever. Hey, mybookie.ag, use that promo code Weighing In. Are we going to sit here and pretend like he's not the best heavyweight in the world? And not only that, but he's probably one of the best, if not the best ever?
Look, there's certain elements you got to take a look at this with him. At 6'9", he's huge.
Yeah.
Okay. He's 6'9". He's weighing in. What did he weigh in at this one? 270 something.
He was lighter though. He was like,
was he lighter? In this one? So he was lighter than his last one with Deontay. Okay, but I mean, still a big man. And a big man that can actually box.
Yeah.
He's got movement. He's hard to hit. I love, he does all the things, if you go back and watch Ali, when Ali would put his hands on the ropes and just head movement, he does the same thing. He does those things because the guy can actually box. He's got great foot movement. He hits people from all different angles. There is no heavyweight right now that can touch him.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
I'm just looking back in history, though. I like what he does with the Ali effect. He does move his head. He does the shaky shimmies. He does all that stuff. He's got quick hands. He knows how to use his hands in the right times in terms of he doesn't have to always try to knock you out. He pats you a little bit and he moves his body offline, creates angles, and then reattacks with harder shots.
Yeah, he doesn't try to hit you hard all the time. He's got the entire Nick Diaz system of, I'm just going to touch you every now and then. I'm going to fucking put the wood to you with one of these. And eventually it's going to put you out. And it does, we can sit there and we brought up Mike Tyson. I love Mike Tyson. He's one of my favorites of all time. You know, people look at him like I'm telling you, Tyson Fury would have eaten Mike up.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
but Tyson had a hard time with guys like that. So look when he fought Lennox Lewis. Look when he fought Buster Douglas. The size and the reach and that type of body frame he had a hard time with for a while. The ones that didn't have the mobility.
Yeah.
Like Buster Douglas had never fought a fight the way he had fought Mike Tyson. How he was sticking the jab and using his footwork and moving and staying out of line. Yeah, a lot of movement, especially in those first 3 rounds. But
42-1.
Yeah, Fury is just a mountain of a man. I mean, he's got a great chin. We saw that against Deontay Wilder. He took some big shots, got dropped, but he got back up like the Undertaker. The Undertaker. Right? Podcast David had to include you into this somehow.
We figured you'd get that WWE fucking fix real quick.
That's the only way you can get your attention as our producer talk about the WWE. But overall, I don't want to sit here and pretend like he's probably not the best heavyweight boxer of all time. He's up there. He's up there.
You got to give the dude's got skills. And
there's fights to be had for him though, John. There's fights to be had. Was that your damn phone?
No, I think that was.
Shit.
But it's your fault.
Amateur hour over here. Look, there's fights to be had though. There's still what's his name? Usyk?
No, it's not.
There's still him.
No, it's not my phone.
It's not your phone. There's still Usyk. There's still Anthony Joshua. There's still.
I used to think Anthony Joshua would actually be a good fight for him. No. I don't think so.
No.
I
don't think he has. I don't think he has a chance.
No.
I don't know if he gets out of the
6th, 7th round.
I was saying to say 4 or 5, but
yeah.
I could see maybe getting into the 6. Nothing against Anthony Joshua.
No, he's extremely good fighter.
Extremely talented. Yeah. I know I've gone hard on the paint on him a couple times, but I still think he's a really good boxer. I just don't think he's as good.
Okay, let's put the one out there that the man that was in the ring with him at the end.
Yeah,
Francis Ngannou. Do you think that one's going to happen?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. The UFC, here's the thing, is I think the UFC will do whatever they can to stop that fight from happening.
But, hold on. Francis was on the last fight of his contract, so he can negotiate with whoever he wants. Now, the UFC can always match.
Yeah.
But they can't match what a boxing contract would be.
No, I mean, they wouldn't want enough.
I don't think they would.
And just to be honest, not for Francis. Francis I think he's a great heavyweight. I think he's fun to watch. But let's be honest, he doesn't bring in the numbers they would need for him to bring in to pay him what boxing would pay him for the one fight.
Okay.
But I would tune in to watch that fight. I think Tyson would eat him up.
Oh.
I think Tyson Fury would eat him up. But
no doubt about it.
I would tune in.
If Deontay Wilder hits like a fucking truck.
Yeah.
Dude, his right hand is fucking TNT. Not that Francis doesn't hit, but Tyson's been in there with people that hit just as hard as Francis does. And boxing-wise, just the style, I mean, come on. It's night and day. I love Francis. He's a great MMA fighter. He's fun to watch, but he cannot box. Now, if it was an MMA fight, I would go with Francis Ngannou, of course.
Yeah.
But if in a boxing, he's not going to stay with.
I don't see any way that he, outside of not landing that knockout blow, but then it's gonna be a lot harder for him to land that because Tyson Fury's really just got to cover up for 2 rounds, and then Ngannou won't be the same fighter anymore. Yeah, he will slow down. The punch output, the bigger gloves.
He's not easy to hit.
He's not easy to hit. I mean, to hit clean anyways. The way he rolls the shoulder, he is taller and bigger than Ngannou, as we saw,
which is pretty impressive. Since if you've been around Francis, you go, that's a big dude.
Yeah, you're a big ass dude. So overall, I mean, we didn't really even talk about his fight. We just know that he's good.
This is true. We didn't talk about his fight at all. All right, let's talk about his fight with Dillian Whyte. What did you think?
I thought it was a masterpiece. I thought he did exactly what he needed to do. And like you said, the Nate Diaz thing, shoe shine, pop, pop, pop. Great footwork, as always. Never seemed like he was in any trouble. He was control the whole situation, the whole fight. I thought overall, I hate to see him leave on a fight like that. If he does retire, let's just be real. If he does retire.
He's not retiring.
If he does retire, John.
He's not retiring.
John, stick with me, okay?
I'll stick with you.
Stay with
me. If
he
does retire.
Yes, if he does retire. I would hate for it to be on a fight where he was so dominant. I would like to see him fight someone there where he is challenged. I don't know if that's Francis not going to challenge him.
Who?
The only guy would really be Anthony Joshua. I like to see Usyk fight. Usyk is the one that I like to see.
Yeah, Usyk's not going to be fighting for a little bit here.
Why is that? I didn't hear.
Usyk's fighting in a war.
Oh,
along with the Klitschko brothers and one of our champions, a guy named Amazon.
I thought something like, I thought you were thinking like injury.
No.
He was hurt. I was like, what? I didn't hear anything about that. Yeah, gotcha.
So
Josh sometimes is a little slow. Okay, just bear with me. But, I'm tired. Time change. You know,
getting in fights, all those things.
Mike Tyson did it. Mike Tyson did it.
Yeah, that guy deserves it.
Yeah.
Oh, your guy deserves it too. I'm sorry.
Anyways, John's always trying to throw me under.
No, I loved it.
All right. So overall, though, great performance. Congratulations to Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
And
he's a stud.
I hope I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again.
Yeah. See? Hello.
He said it's not retired.
Go.
All right, let's talk. We're gonna talk the main event of the PFL.
Oh yeah.
Which, if you guys went to mybookie.ag, you could have made some money off that fight as well, because we said that Clay Collard would give Jeremy Stephens some problems. There's a good chance that he could beat him, depending on how serious Jeremy Stephens took Clay Collard.
Which he did take him serious.
Which he did. He did. John, when you said that Clay won the fight and
30-27,
it was unanimous though, it was 30-20. I was thinking that it was going to be like a domination.
No.
Rounds were close.
Close damn fight.
Yes.
I thought there were moments Clay hit Jeremy with more shots.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Definitely went to the body, like we always talk about. Went to the body beautifully.
That's what he did with Pettis.
But Jeremy landed some big, heavy shots at times, man. I thought it was a close fight. I had it 29-28, but I thought that, it could have gone.
What round did you give Jeremy?
Oh, I think it was the second.
Okay. I think I gave Jeremy the first.
It might have been the first. I'm trying to remember.
I had like 2 or 3 beers in me when I watched it. I'm a little hazy.
I really thought Jeremy fought, dude, he was hitting him with big shots. And Clay does what he does. And he's got an awkward style that he, moves in and out. I love the fact when he got to the one point and he starts doing doing his footwork. And I was like, hey, that's Clay. That's all right.
If Jeremy would have hit me like that in the head, my face would have caved in.
Oh yeah.
That's how bad. That's how hard he was hitting Clay Collard, and Clay just turned his head and went back at it. I was like,
that's the one thing that Clay does so well. He'll roll with that shot. You see him. He'll see it just at that moment. He's turning with it, so it does touch, but it takes a lot of the steam off of it. It was a great fight, and man, hats off to Jeremy Stephens. I thought Little Heathen fought his ass off.
Yeah.
That was the kind of fight that, although he lost, I know he fucking loved that fight.
Yeah.
I know that he fucking was like, that's what I like to do. Not someone that's trying to sit there and, crowd me and fucking stuff what I do. A guy that wants to stand out there and brawl with me, and Clay Collard did. And the PFL put that fight up as one of your highlight fights because it was
a great fight.
A great fight.
It was a great fight. Not only that, but I mean, are we just going to start calling Clay Collard the spoiler?
Oh.
I mean, he's coming in spoiling all these guys' debut. I mean, Anthony Pettis, now Jeremy Stephens. I mean, I'm wondering who's next.
Thank you very much.
So this is a loss though, right? Was this to start the tournament?
That's to start the tournament.
Okay. So now Jeremy's going in with 0 points, and Clay's coming in with 1.
3.
2. 3? I thought it was
3.
3.
You get 3.
6 for
6 if you win in the first round.
Right? Oh.
6 if you win. 5 if you win in the second. 4 if you win in the third, and if it goes to a decision, you get 3.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the scoring to me, it makes it fun. It makes it fun. It's hard to follow along. So
it is.
If you don't follow it consistently.
Yeah. And it's backwards because you can have a guy that, and it's my only problem with the tournament. I understand what the PFL is trying to do. I'm not putting them down in any way. But when you have one like, they have fights where they'll take 2 good guys and those guys match up well, and so it goes to a decision, and it was a great fight like this. So now Jeremy has 0 points. Now someone else is going to fight a first round fight, and they'll give the guy someone you go, that's not competition for him. He wins, he'll win in the first round. He's got 6 points. He didn't fight a hard fight.
Yeah.
He got an easy one. He's got 6 points. Jeremy's at 0. So now Jeremy comes back and wins one and even beats that guy, we'll say. But unless he gets the 6 points, that guy's going to go to the into the playoffs, they call it, while Jeremy sits at home. That's my only problem with it.
The other thing, though, too, they don't always all fight each other.
No.
Right? So there's not like everyone, there's not like 6 guys in the tournament or 9 guys in the tournament. They don't all fight each other to see who has the best score. So like in tournament play for soccer, I know you can't do that. It takes too long. But I'm simply saying, like in soccer, right?
That's my whole point. It's not even.
For the World Cup, you've got 4 teams or 5 teams, whatever, in one bracket. They all play each other. and then they find out the top 3 teams or whatever go. So that's the only problem I have kind of with the way they do it. Maybe they should have separate brackets where all 3 fighters fight each other.
Yeah.
They do what kind of how the World Cup is.
Yeah.
You have 3 fighters or 4 fighters, they all fight each other, and then the top 2 guys go.
Because in some ways, it's just it doesn't equal out.
Yep, I get what you're saying.
And that's where I have the problem with it. Because especially when you have a guy that he beats the person in this, and this guy goes because he had that first round. It's like, he beat him. How can he go ahead of him? It doesn't make sense, but it's the point thing.
But Clay Collard is not to be overlooked, you guys, and we've been saying this for the longest time. John actually turned me on to him, not in that way. But John turned me, when he was getting ready to fight Pettis, I was like, oh, Pettis should be able to, I pick him apart. Yeah. Clay walked through the shots, worked the body, caused some big problems for Pettis, and ended up getting the win.
And it was one of the differences that I saw in Clay in this fight. One of my when we talk about it, I said, look, Clay is good. He's got great skills. He's got good boxing skills, but he does tend to burn out a little. He gets tired in the 3rd round, and that's usually a problem. He didn't get tired.
No, he looked good.
He obviously has done things to work on that cardio, and because he was taking big shots, and when you take big shots, that tends to empty your gas tank also. And man, he was in that sucker. So congratulations to Clay, man. That was a hell of a performance.
Yep, I agree. All right, so look, we have a lot of I'm going to be upfront and honest with you guys right now. We have a lot of Bellator to talk about, so bear with us on that as well. But I'm going to let you guys know, John and I didn't get a chance to really watch all of the UFC
No,
fights.
I watched some. He
watched some, but I also don't. I'm not going to comment on it. I didn't watch any of them. It's been a busy week here in Hawaii, not just but it's been a busy week. So with USO tours and military stuff. So I'm going to save my comments if John wants to make some remarks on the UFC. I'm going to save my comments for when I watch it, and I'll be back home. And our midweek show, I will do the full breakdown with John on that side.
Well, I'll just wait.
You'll just wait. So I know you guys probably came here for some UFC talk as well, but I'm going to make sure that I get a chance to watch it. I don't want you guys to burn me in the comment section like you guys like to. It's okay.
That's why I don't read them. See, I don't worry. Go ahead. Burn away.
I love
Burn
it.
away.
I love it. I like to know. I like to know these things. I want to hear what the latest words are about me.
The latest trash.
All right, well, hey, let's get into podcast day. Pull up the Bellator card, okay, the Friday night one.
270. We'll start with 278. Yep.
Thank you.
So,
I would like to start with the beginning one. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Podcast day is a little bit behind.
Where would you like to?
Let's start with the main event.
8 fights.
Let's talk about the main event because it's got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, let's start with the main event. Juliana Velasquez versus Liz Carmouche. John, I thought I had Juliana had 3-0 going into the 4th. I had her losing the 4th.
She had 2 judges that had her at 3-0.
Okay.
One judge had her at 2-1.
Yeah, I can see that.
One judge gave Liz the first round, and I can see that. I think I gave Liz the first round, and it was
wrong.
It could have been. It was, based upon output, and she was coming forward, and I thought landing. It was the leg kicks was really the difference, in my opinion, in that first round. They both landed shots a little bit in the stand-up. Obviously, Juliana had the left hand that was like a laser. It just kept on hitting the mark on Liz throughout the fight. But no, there's no way you could have had that fight any other way than at least 2 rounds to 1 for Velasquez going into that 4th round.
Yeah, I had it 3-0 for Juliana. 2 other judges, you said, had it 3-0 for her.
Yep.
It was, I thought, but here's the thing. The first round was very close. I understand the 2-1. The second and third round were not close at all.
No.
Juliana won those rounds outright. She dropped her, I believe, in the second and in the third round. Both rounds she dropped her.
Dropped her twice.
She dropped her twice. I had her starting to kind of like run away with the fight. But then the 4th round came. And then Liz, something switched in Liz.
A little bit.
She realized that, like, hey, this fight's getting away from me. I'm letting this slip away from me again.
Yep.
By the way.
I agree.
And so she started picking up the pace. And Juliana got put on her back foot. And she's like, oh, what's going on? This is different. And that's kind of how Liz started the fight, too. Yes. That's why Liz started winning that first round.
Yep.
But then Juliana's like, wait a second. What am I doing? Yep. And she started touching her, started pressing her to the fence, started doing all the things she needed to do. And, so I had a 3-0 going into the 4th. Liz made a switch. She made some changes and started putting Juliana on her back foot. Then they get like a reversal. It was like a reversal, right? In that. They hit the ground. She's on top. She ends up getting in the crucifix position. And we are talking championship rounds. We are talking championship rounds. We are talking the champion is on bottom. She's taking elbows, but there are actually like just elbows pressed against the face doing this. And they're like just little chopping.
Forearm.
Yeah, just rubbing the forearm along the face. There was 2 elbows that did land clean. But you've got to give. If you don't see blood, if you don't see a cut, if you don't see the eye, like if you don't see her eyes roll back in her head, you need to make sure that you allow the fight to continue. You have to give that champion the opportunity to go. Not to mention, I know we've talked about this before. If there's only, and I know refs don't care about this, but fighters do. If there's only 8 seconds, 10 seconds left, you just need to let me take my ass kicking for those 8 seconds. I'm sorry, especially with the belt on the line. But
doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter to the ref because we're looking at fighter safety. But she was in a bad position. But I've seen in the history of this sport, a la Matt Hughes, BJ Penn, he took punches and punches.
What are you talking
and
about?
nasty.
I did that fight. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he took a lot of damage.
Why?
Because you let him go.
Because he was the champ.
He was the champ.
That's right.
Let it be.
Let him go.
Overall, you have to let that fight go.
And this is where
I'm right.
You are. And this is where I take a lot of flack from him. I said, look, not all fights are the same.
Yeah.
You cannot referee all fights the same. You want to always protect the fighter. Yes. And this is where Mike Beltran ended up making what, in my opinion, was a mistake. Is as the referee.
Would you say in his opinion it was a mistake?
Yes. I would tell you in his opinion it's a mistake.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a matter of you want to protect the fighter.
Yeah.
You don't want to see anyone get hurt. You don't want to be responsible for anyone getting hurt. But as a professional fighter, that's part of what you sign up for. Mm-hmm. That is part of the job description. You are going to get damaged. What we don't want as the official is for you to receive what we call unnecessary damage. And there's a difference. There's a difference in those. Unnecessary damages when you have been damaged, you've been hurt, you're on the ground, and you're now not doing anything to defend this. And now that becomes unnecessary damage because you've already proven that you've been hurt. You can't stop what's occurring. You're just going to take more unnecessary damage when you've proven you're really not in this fight anymore. Yeah. Juliana was definitely in the fight. So it had never reached the point where I thought she even received what I would call damage. Mm-hmm. I had a famous, I guess beef with Roy Nelson, and I love Roy. It's not that I don't like Roy, but Roy was, in the back. I would, we talk about going in the back and talking to fighters and stuff, and I came in the back and I mm-hmm. talked to you, mm-hmm. and everything is about that communication that you have, and sometimes it's a very short conversation, and sometimes it's a pretty long one, Yeah. And with Roy, it was always a long one. Because Roy was always the guy trying to push things into a certain corner that would benefit him as the fighter. And I don't blame him for that. But, one of the things that Roy would talk about is getting in that crucifix position. And he would say, he goes, I'm going to do this. I'm telling you right now. And I'm just going to start counting. He says, and I know you're going to have to stop it. And I go, Roy, let me make this as clear as I can for you. You can get someone in a crucifix position. I said, great. I said, you can start landing shots. I said, you can count to 100. And I'm going to tell you, you better go to 101 and 102 and 103 because you're not doing damage to that person. Yeah. I said, or you could go to 2 and the next thing you're going to hear out of me is stop because I'm stopping the fight because you have done serious damage to them. It's not the amount of shots that you land. It's the damage that occurs from those shots that we're going to go off of. And he was always, you can't do that. You can't tell me that if I hit him 100 times, you don't think that's going to be damaging. I said, I don't know. I will find out when we're in there though. I said, and if it's not damaging, you're going to know because I'm not going to be stopping it. And these are the things that sometimes happen. Well, in this position, Juliana, the time, Mike didn't even know how much time was left, really. So that's not even an equation in it. And so Juliana, when she gets in that position, look, is she in a bad position? She is. And I will tell you, and I tell fighters all the time, and I told Roy Nelson this. I said, look, stop doing this with punches and start doing that with elbows. Yeah. Referees tend to get much more skittish and quicker to stop a fight when you are landing bone-to-bone elbows than you are when you're landing that punch. I said, because it does more damage. They can hear it. And that's a big part of it. You know, as the person sitting at home, you don't hear it the same way as, you know, what is actually occurring. You hear that bone-to-bone clash. You hear how hard it is. So, look, let's just be honest. It was early. And Mike was trying to protect her when he should have. At this point, you got to let that one go.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part for me in this is, first off, Beltran's a great referee.
Yes.
Okay? He's human.
He's one of my favorites.
He's
Better than
human,
you.
and he made a mistake. But he's man enough to say, I made a mistake.
Yeah, he's definitely a better ref than you were.
That's fine. But the other part is, I feel bad for Liz.
Yeah.
Because, see, Liz went out there, and all Liz did was what she was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
She went after winning the fight. She got a great position. She went after landing shots, and the referee pulled her off.
Mm-hmm.
She did nothing wrong. And there's people that are bad-mouthing her when she didn't do anything wrong. She's the champ. That's just the way it is. Do I think that Juliana should protest this? I talked to her. We talked to her.
Yeah.
I said, look, this is what you should do, and this is what you should say. And I do that because it's what's right. You know, she had an undefeated record. A mistake has put her in a position where she not only lost that undefeated record, she lost that title. When the person who was the guy that made that, you know, judgment says, I made a mistake, really what you have is, you know, they should at least go back and put a no contest on it and take away the loss and put them back together and let them do it again.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't see them changing it to no contest.
Yeah, they might not.
I've dealt with commissions. They're ridiculous. They want to pretend like they don't make mistakes.
But
they don't want to change. They don't want to change things because they don't want to look bad.
It's about the personality of the fighter. You have a horrible personality.
Yeah, this is true, by the way. This is very true. This is very true. I know, it's so weird how when you stand up for yourselves, how people don't like that.
Exactly.
It's just random.
What is wrong with you?
So weird. Oh, man. A bunch of Mike Tysons running around. Oh man. No, but I don't think they're going to overturn it. She's going to end up with that loss on her record.
She might.
But I do think now that Alimale, she came up short on her fight, I do think that they need to run that back as fast as possible. That fight needs to happen again. Liz and Julia.
Yes.
I think they should have done it anyways, but I do know there was a hint at potentially Alimale fighting Liz Carmouche, only based on the fact that they used to be training partners and they wanted to get that fight out of the way so they can move on and potentially start training again together and, you know, working together again.
How does that fight make it to where they can move on and possibly start training again? That doesn't make sense.
Because someone's going to win.
Could be, but it could be the same thing that happens again.
Possibly.
I mean,
Possibly, yeah.
You never know. You trained with Gil before.
Yeah.
And you guys fought 3 times.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Our fights were very good, like in terms of action.
Wow.
Yeah, in action. Yes. I know my arm's a little tight.
But you know what?
I can't do it myself.
I hate to say that those were good.
can't
That's
do it. I can't do
possibly the greatest trilogy.
No, not possibly. They definitely were.
Possibly.
The only one I would compare it next to would be the Hendo and Shogun.
There was only 2.
I thought there was 3.
There was 2.
No, didn't they fight in...
Dave, look it up. 2.
I think there was 3.
They fought in California at UFC 139.
No, they fought Pride before that.
Did they fight in Pride
I
before
believe
that?
so.
I know Vanderlei and
Or was
Hendo
it-
fought in Pride.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Or maybe it was Ninja. Maybe he fought Ninja. He might have fought his brother.
So they fought at UFC Fight Night 38 in 2014. They fought at UFC 139, headlined.
I thought they fought before all that. No, maybe not. No, just 2. Interesting.
Who's Murilo Hua? They fought in Pride. That's not him though.
That's his brother Ninja, so that's who I thought.
Okay. So they fought in Pride, yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers. John's arm was tired from patting me on the back, so I had to reward him and pat him on the back. He finally got one right.
Wow.
Oh man, just one. I don't think I think we're gonna end up having to watch that go. But yes, to answer your question, then I just answered the question for me.
I think you did.
We have the.
Oh, there it
We have
is.
the best
Okay.
trilogy, yeah.
Go back to that one now.
That was good. It was good. Showtime did a whole special on that fight.
Did they?
All 3 fights.
Really?
Yeah.
They were,
you know-
I gotta admit, they were fantastic.
Josh watches it on repeat every Sunday.
Yeah. I should actually make you sit down and actually you can learn something about fighting. Podcast, Dave. Sit down and watch. It has all aspects of fighting. Well, it's MMA. I know it's not the WWE. We get it. Look. Okay, so what was the next fight on that card?
All right, so then you had Enrique Barzola and Nikita Mikhailov.
John, I gotta be honest, man. Barzola trains at AKA. I thought he was tough. I thought he was good.
You didn't think you'd win?
I didn't think he was gonna win.
I know.
I thought Nikita was gonna just stick and move. I thought he was gonna out technique him. He was gonna control the top pressure and make it a boring kind of fight because that's what you have to do against Barzola because he's gonna still be there. Barzola won that fight from the opening bell.
Oh yeah.
There was never a moment he was losing that fight. He dominated the whole thing.
Overall, he just looked great.
Yeah.
And man, his pressure was fantastic. And it was funny because when we did the fighter interviews, when we talked to Mikhailov, his one of his things he said is, tell me how you get, when you're going to win, how you're going to win. Yeah? I'm younger.
And
I was like, younger, okay.
Yeah.
And it really worked against him.
Yeah.
Because fight IQ wise, he didn't know how to stop what Barzola was doing. He didn't understand how to deal with the pressure the same way. And it just was it was a current.
Yeah.
And he was swimming against the current. He's going upstream and just to the point where he just got, washed away by it.
Like an old story that I have from AKA was at 23 years old, Nikita's 23 years old.
Yep.
At that age, I didn't know how to handle that type of pressure either. It wasn't until I started training with Bob Cook and Frank Shamrock that I realized how to start handling that type of pressure. Someone that just walks you down. They're not afraid of your punching.
Nope.
They're not afraid of your kicks. They're not afraid of your wrestling.
Mentally it screws with you.
Yeah.
It does.
And when that happens, like I used to just fold up. Like I just used to fold up and just basically like,
what do I do?
Yeah, I would just panic sometimes and just like circle. You get so gassed, you're almost like just shooting desperation doubles.
Yeah.
And Nikita had nothing, man. Barzola just was putting it on him the whole fight. He was just beating him to the punch and everything, making him work so hard. And every time he got to the feet, just walking him down, landing shots. He made me a believer in that one fight and what he did and the amount of pressure. Because when you go back and look at the Darren Caldwell fight, he didn't win 1 second of the first 2 rounds.
No.
He was actually losing the beginning of the 3rd round.
Yep.
And then it just, the pressure gassed Darren Caldwell, and Barzola was still there, showing his warrior spirit, as I like to say for him, and he put it together. He looked amazing in this fight. Different fight than when he fought Darren Caldwell. But
yeah, he looked way better.
He looked way better in this fight. Looked great, man.
But he when we talked to him, he said, what's one of the differences? He says, experience.
Yeah, which was 100% true.
I'm way more experienced, and I understand how this fight's going to go.
Yeah.
Boy, he had that down right.
John, I wonder, though, how much of the effect that these Russian fighters are facing, because neither one of them look good.
No, we talked about that.
You had Nemkov and you have Nikita. Neither one of them look good in their fights. And I just wonder how much of this whole thing that's going on over there is affecting them and their ability to train, the mental state of them traveling around, how they're being looked at, how people are treating them. They have nothing to do with it.
No.
They're not part of it. So it's sad because I know that all athletes from Russia, they're all going through it right now. And they don't have anything to do with it.
No.
Which is, it sucks for them. Next fight.
The one.
Danny Sabatello and Jordan Lugo.
The F-bomb gangster.
5 F-bombs.
5 of them.
5.
Thank God, man, I was going to run out of hands right there.
It's like, John had to start doing this.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, with the hand gestures.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
he was
man.
great.
I mean, look, let's be honest. His fighting style is not the most exciting, but the trash talk that goes along with it, the speed in which he does the takedowns, the aggressiveness, all that stuff, the build up to the fight, it kind of pumps me up.
Okay, I will say, I love his style. And I love the fact
You can't say that and then can't say the same thing about Cody or Colby.
Hold on. No. Okay, here's the difference.
They remind me of each other, by the way.
But here's the difference. Colby holds a position, and he holds it well. Especially, he loves half guard.
Yeah.
And he'll sit there and he'll just, dink shot you away with that half guard position. Danny Sabatello, dude, he was slicing through the fucking guard of Jordan Lugo. He was passing at will. He was getting to side mount. He was getting himself into full mount.
That's only because he's not good enough to control the position like Colby Covington.
How can you say that?
How can you say that? I'm just because everyone thinks I'm a Colby hater, so I have to like throw these in here just to make just so people do realize I'm not a Colby.
I mean, everything that Danny did in that fight, you got to look, man. First off,
he fought great.
I love the fact what he was saying beforehand. Look, I have no problem. It's just like I said before. If a fighter attacks the fighting style, the fighting heart, whatever it is of his opponent, go ahead, man. That's part of this game. It's when they get past that and they start going into family stuff. You're stepping over the line.
Yeah.
Danny talked about Jordan Lugo. He put him down, saying that the guy never fought anyone, no, he's no good. I don't care if he's undefeated. And that's okay. But then he went out and you know what?
He did it.
He walked the walk, man. He went out and he put it on him, and Jordan Lugo had no answers for anything Danny was doing. He stopped one takedown at the beginning of that fight. I thought that was a good thing for him. I said, okay, now he knows he can do it. And now Danny knows I got to go after again. Danny did exactly what he was supposed to do. Went after again, got it. And man, he just put a whooping on him. And he's playing it up to the crowd in the middle of the fight. He did everything. And then his the interview afterwards, it's that person. He's Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
He's Leo Getz. Now he's got the blonde hair like him too, and it's platinum blonde hair. And we talked to him about the blonde hair and stuff, and he just right away he started going after Ego and saying, "You're next. You're a bum. I'm fucking way better than you. I'm gonna fucking smash you too." I love it. It's the way it's supposed to be. And then he's got the F-bombs on top of it because he cannot complete a sentence without throwing an F-bomb in there.
And that's what makes him must-watch TV.
He's
absolutely amazing. Like, I think it's so funny. What I liked it in terms of the way he fought is that he didn't get detoured by the fact that he didn't get the first two takedowns. He shot, didn't get it, shot again, didn't get it. Then he made the transition, grabbed around the waist, was able to swing him around, get him down. Then every takedown after that became easier and easier. And then he started, like you said, passing guard, started going to three-quarter mount, started doing all those.
Dude, he put on a clinic down there.
Yes, he did a great job. What I will say is that for young fighters, if you get the shot, if you go back and watch Danny, I think it was in the second round, he shoots and he waits for Jordan Lugo to kind of sprawl. And like he lets Jordan Lugo get to like a front headlock, and then he either arm drags him by or he pulls back out and then he gets on top of his head. Yeah. So he fakes the shot, but he fakes it so well that Lugo goes to the front headlock, and he pulls back out and goes to the front headlock on Jordan Lugo. He did that 2 or 3 times.
2 times.
That he ended up then after Lugo.
I commented on the one because it was classic Dave Schultz front headlock.
It was beautiful.
Like, damn, it's nice.
After he pulled out, he got on the front headlock. He let Lugo out of the front headlock. Lugo pulled up and stood upright. Boom, he hit the double.
Yep.
It was just textbook. It was beautifully done. Like, he understood what he had to do. He's like, look, I'm not here to hang out, and just ride you. I'm here to fucking make you work. And he made him work the whole fight, and to the point where Lugo just had no answers, man. And what I loved about the whole thing was that Lugo at the end, he realized when I talked to him, after the fight, he's like, I gotta go back to the drawing board, man. He's like, I got a lot of things I gotta work on. He wasn't upset at the fact. He's like, I wrestle, man. I gotta work on my wrestling. I gotta work on, retaining my guard. I gotta work on getting back to my feet. All those things. But I will say this, is there is a good chance we're gonna see Mr. Taco meet himself, Super Stotts, Rafion Stotts, and Danny Sabatello in the semifinals.
Yeah.
There is a good chance we're going to see that. And I'm telling you right now, it would be a travesty if Bellator didn't do a fucking 24/7 on those two guys. It would be fucking just gold. A travesty. It would be gold, but it'd be a travesty if we missed that opportunity to do a 24/7.
Because both guys are just fucking
are fucking hilarious.
Yep.
I mean, both of them. I mean, Rafion Stott's post-fight interview was amazing. Danny's post-fight interview was amazing. The lead up for both of these guys talking to each other. There are videos on Instagram. Both of them are going to be insane when they hit Instagram and social media this whole week. And then leading up to that fight, if they do both get there, Danny Sabatello has a good chance of beating Higo. He's got a really good chance.
He can wrestle. You know, the way he can wrestle and the way he chains his wrestling together is very difficult to stop. Not that the ego's got power in his hands, but he's a guy that he doesn't move as well as Jordan Lugo as far as footwork. He likes to plant his feet more, which sometimes makes the takedowns come easier. It's gonna be a. I just look at it and say both guys can win, but Sabatello right now. Sabatello, we talk about confidence all the time. Dude, the guy's confident. He believes in himself.
He's not lacking that at all.
He's
not lacking confidence.
He believes the camp that he comes from is the best. He believes the guys that he works out with are
pretty
the
good,
fucking best, and that they're fucking making him better. And he believes that he can outwork any fighter he goes in there against. And so hey,
those coaches are studs, man. Mike Brown being
Mike Brown.
You got Dustin Poirier, who's not really a coach, but he's always with a lot of the guys. He's part of King Mo, obviously. I mean, you've got a lot of great fighters that are out of there.
Marcus Silveira has done a great job and has really become. You talk about a guy that's really become a great coach. Learned how to, because he knew how to fight, but it's hard. Sometimes if you know how to fight, you don't know how to coach it.
That's true.
And he's done a good job because you can't adjust people to your style. You need to adjust to their style.
That's very true.
And he's done a great job with that.
Yeah. Overall, though, Danny Sabatello, if you guys haven't checked him out on Instagram, you guys should. If you guys haven't checked out the Bellator Instagram page,
The Italian Gangster. I'm calling him the F-bomb gangster.
Yeah, he's freaking awesome, man. He's awesome. All right, so next fight.
Grant Neal and Christian Edwards.
I mean, John, I had Grant Neal, man.
Yeah. Well, you said from the beginning you thought Grant Neal was going to win.
This is why. I wasn't sure because Christian Edwards is still a young fighter, extremely talented. I wasn't sure how he would handle coming off of his loss to Ben Parrish the way he lost. Now, Grant Neal lost also, but he lost a split decision to Alex Polizzi, which was a close fight. Could have went either way.
Yep.
I had Polizzi also winning, but it could have went either way. That's not something you just go back to the drawing board and be like, hey, look, I got to just improve this little thing here, this little thing here. When you lose to someone like Ben Parrish, who then later went on and got mopped up by somebody else, that then becomes... it bothers you even more because you're like, gosh, I could have beat that guy. I should have done this. I should have done that. It weighs on you mentally. And Christian Edwards, I think, went out there and showed he's got all the abilities. John, there's no doubt. He is really, really good. He's good on the feet. He's good on the ground. He's got good wrestling. He's got good top pressure. He just is lacking the experience. That's really what it comes down to. Now, when you compare the experience between him and Grant Neal, but Grant Neal, to me, has fought the better caliber of fighters. Alex Polizzi being one of them, now fighting Christian Edwards. He's fought the better caliber. Only one or two better caliber fighters. But in terms of experience, Grant Neal's had a little bit of a harder road than Christian Edwards.
And it showed. That's it.
And that was the knock that I would say. It's not even really a knock. It just comes with time. That's really what it comes with. He just needs a little bit more grooming, and he needs a little bit more confident, like really just confidence in everything he does.
Yeah, I thought that it's funny because many times, I'll talk about, strength is not as important as speed and things like that. Grant Neal's strength, dude, he is a tank. And man, once he decided, I'm just going to, instead of, even a blast double, it's a football tackle. He's running through him.
So explosive.
I mean.
Fullback, Colorado State.
Yep. And boy, it shows because when he decides to go forward, man, he explodes into him. I really thought Christian Edwards fought as well as he could fight. When he was on the ground, dude, he's trying everything he knows on how to get up. And you see him working hard to get there. And Grant, good basics, just kept him down at times. And I got a really good win. I give him credit, man. I thought it was a very hard-fought fight for both guys. But Grant Neal definitely just kept on stepping it up and getting better and better in the fight where Christian wasn't able to meet that level. I'm
good friends with Lorenzo Neal, and he is fullback,
dude, just best fullback in football ever, I think.
Grant Neal reminds me of him.
Yeah.
The way he's built.
Very
not like personality-wise or anything like that, but just
very similar.
Grant Neal has a little bit of that like potential serial killer look to him. The way he's amazing. He's like so soft spoken.
He's a fisherman,
super
man.
nice, but he has that look to him like
He'll give you that.
I
look.
could kill you. I could, and he can fight. So, but no, Lo's a good friend of mine, and so it was just funny when I compare them and the explosiveness and their body frames and just being the way they are tanks. I'm like, you remind me of Lo. Anyways, all right. So that was Josh Thomp's shameless name drop, but
That's enough.
That's enough.
So we're gonna go on
Next
to
one.
no.
Oh no.
Let's go on to 270.
Okay, no. There wasn't another fight before.
Yeah,
that.
there was.
There was. Okay, but never mind. Let's pass. Okay, pass. Move on to 279. I like where your mind's at today.
All right, Bellator 279, Cyborg versus Blanco.
All right, let's start off at the top then.
John, I didn't give her a chance. I thought she was going to fight a better fight. I didn't think she was going to fight this fight. I saw her afterwards. She was obviously upset. But when I talked to her down here, I said, look, this was the best fight I've ever seen you fight ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she got hit with stuff, and she said, I don't care.
She got hit with some balls.
I don't care. She got hit, that push kick up the face. Like 5 or 6 times she got hit with that. 5 or 6 times she got hit with that.
Oh, yeah.
But she just shrugged it off and just kept going about her business. I would have liked to have seen. I know she left it all out there. I know it, and I'm literally like critiquing this smallest things. I wanted to see her return. Every time Cyborg threw something, return something back.
Yeah.
And there was moments where she could have and she didn't. I think that would have been a big difference in the fight because Chris was throwing the head kick at will, and she was just blocking it and then not throwing anything back. She threw the leg kick at will, and she was just blocking it and not throwing anything back. If she would have thrown 1 or 2 things back, it could have ended the fight too. It could have went the opposite way. Like no, what I'm saying is, it could have got her in trouble as well.
That's what I said.
But that's the fight game. But she fought so damn good.
All right, one of the most important things is your health. We are all about you living a long and luxurious life that is full of quality. Well, if you're a smoker, you're a vapor, you're not going to have that. It is a bad habit, and you should never have started in the beginning. But we have the ability for you to help with that hand-to-mouth habit, to get rid of that smoking or vaping habit that you have. It is Fume, F-U-M. Fume is an incredible product that both Josh and I both use to make it to where at times we get a refreshing element of essential oils, all kinds of flavors, lemon, bliss, peppermint. I love the peppermint. Bubbly lime, cherry, eggnog, all these different flavors that they have, even invigorate, conquer, black pepper, all of these things to help you get rid of the nasty habit you have of vaporing or smoking. One of the best things about Fume is you can do it anywhere. You can do it in your home with your kids around because there is no smoke. There is no horrible things coming out that can also affect your kids. You can do it while you drive. You can do it on a plane. You can do it on a train because we're going to be on a train coming up too.
We are.
And we could do it there, no problems. It is just essential oils. You're going to take the prominent, which is almost like, the end of it's the end of a filter, but it's only wood. And then you're going to put that core into it. When you breathe it in, you're going to feel it. It goes into your sinus cavities. It makes you feel good. And you will get rid of that horrible, horrible habit of smoke or vape. You need to go to Breathe Fume. And when we say Breathe Fume, it's FUM.com/weighing in and use the weighing in promo code to get 10% off of your buy. We believe you will love this product as much as we do. What do you think?
I love it because I've got nasal issues, as you guys mostly talk about in the comment section. Yes, I am very nasally, but from all the years of being punched in the face, I've got a deviated septum and I've got some cauliflower in the other nostril, but it does help with my breathing. So it actually helps me at night when I sleep, and so I use that. I use Fume right before I go to bed and sometimes before I do the podcast, and it does help with that. So go to breathefume.com/weighing in. Use our promo code weighing in for that additional 10% off. I was thoroughly
she told us
impressed.
She told us before the fight. She goes, "Look, I'm going to leave everything I have." She goes, "She's going to have to kill me to get me out of there. I will not quit." And man, Arlene, God bless you. You are a woman of your word because you put everything you could into that fight. I agree with Josh. There was moments, because there was the one moment where she hit Chris with a right hand. And you could see it stunned Chris.
Yeah.
Chris was not ready for it. She got hit by it, and you could see. And I was like, that's what you need to do. Just keep following up. Always throw that. and it didn't come that often.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was just not enough offensive output in the end. Near the end, she was really trying to get that offensive output out there, but by then she'd taken a ton of damage.
She was already tired, though.
And taken a ton of damage, and had been in a tough fight. But you got to give it to look, Chris Cyborg. When she came into Bellator, I thought she really fought a really good fight against Julia Budd. And I thought her fight against Blenko the first time was brilliant. Yeah. Fought exactly the way. I always want to see a fighter, although it may not be the most exciting for everyone. I want to see them evolve as the fighter and fight the smart fight that allows you to damage your opponent and get them out of there without you being damaged. Because there's only so many times that you can go in there and have those kind of wars that they don't add up and then start to detract from your actual performance ability. And so when she won the first one with Blenko, I was like, that's exactly what she needs to do. She fought with Leslie Smith again. Now, she didn't get Leslie out like she did when she was in the UFC in the first round, but she didn't take any damage, really. She really fought a smart fight, controlled, stay away, countered. And then she had the fight with Sinead, and it was a first-round knockout, but she was sticking her chin out there. She got hit.
She got clipped.
And that's the ones you look, and that's what I thought Arlene needed to do, is kind of bring her into that. Yeah. And so every time that Chris took the fight to the ground with Arlene, she's dominant. Yeah. Why are you not doing that more? Why are you not going back to the well?
John. Yeah. Because it's fucking exhausting. That's why, John. Let me just be honest. It's exhausting.
Fighting's exhausting.
And Chris, she's not known to be a wrestler. She's got some wrestling. No. She's got the blast double. She's that person that likes to either berserk you with big blows, big combinations, or she's the one that presses you to the fence and just knees you and elbows you, makes space and blitz you, and then goes back to that.
But she's changed that. If you think about this fight, she only did it one time.
Well, that
was her whole fucking thing. Chris would start off, throw big shots trying to get you to move, get into you, get you against the cage, hit you with knees, hit you with elbows, give a little bit of separation, and come back into you again, and then do it all over again.
Yeah. She had a hard time with holding Arlene against the fence.
Yeah.
That was another issue. Arlene either was digging the underhooks or she was overhooking and underhook on one side. She was never really letting her make that space. Like with Julia Budd let her do what she wanted at will. And that was at her demise.
Yeah.
She just made the space, came back in. She was hitting her to the body, hitting her to the head. With Arlene, as soon as she did that, Arlene circled out and came back to the center. It's like trying to hit a moving target. So she just didn't do it. But I thought Arlene fought a dog of a fight.
Yeah,
I thought Chris Cyborg
fought a great fight.
She fought a great fight. She fought a great fight as well. She fought a great fight.
She landed some big shots, and that front
push kick up the middle was money.
Up the middle.
Yeah.
Time and time again.
It was there. But look, I guess here's the thing though, John.
Who did she fight?
Where do we go from here?
That's exactly the whole thing.
And here's the thing: is I actually believe, and I was thinking this. I said, if Arlene was, because there was talk that maybe Arlene would retire if she didn't win, but I was like, with a performance like that, keep being selfish, girl, because you fought your ass off, and the fact that she finally was able to not have to work 2 jobs, take care of her kids, who are at school, university, things like that. She would actually focus on her career in terms of being a fighter. I'm like, wow, you look good. You look really good. I was thinking to myself, where does Cyborg go from here?
That's what I'm going to ask you. Where does she go from here? In your opinion, where does she go from this? Because she was talking about boxing, okay? Let's just be honest. She's not going to make a whole lot of money in boxing. She's making a lot of money in MMA.
Yeah.
So it's a nice thought process. Ain't going to fucking happen. Now she's had fucking...
Who would she fight?
Muay Thai fights. Maybe they're close to the same size.
Jake Paul likes to fight older people.
He likes to fight older people that are smaller than him.
And that are smaller. Okay. I think it's pretty
okay. Yeah. All right, but seriously, where do you see... I look at it this way. If you're Chris Cyborg, what do you have to prove? What do you have to prove?
What do you mean? Just in MMA or talking about going to boxing?
No, in MMA.
Nothing.
I think, there is one thing.
Do you retire?
No. You don't. But
this is what I think you should do.
You do have one fight out there, that everyone talks about and keeps from you being considered that person in the featherweight division that is the greatest of all time. And it's Amanda Nunes. I'm not saying anything about the Kayla Harrison fight. There is that fight. And the PFL has the ability. I think Chris is, that was the last fight on her contract, so she'll be a free agent. She could possibly be lulled over the PFL and have that fight with Kayla Harrison.
Yeah.
If, Bellator doesn't re-sign her. But
Bellator has the right to match.
Absolutely, they do. Same as what the PFL did with Kayla. But there's one fight, and it's not the Kayla Harrison fight. It's Amanda Nunes.
She's not going back to the UFC.
Okay, but if you were her.
She fucking hates it.
Hold on. If you were her.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you feel about Dana White. And it doesn't matter how you feel about anything with the promotion. There's people in the promotion she liked. But if you go back there, all you need is one fight. I'll go back if you give me Amanda. Because that's a fight that they can sell. Right now in the featherweights,
She's not the
in the
champion.
featherweights.
Right, she's not the champion.
In the featherweights, Amanda's the champion. She's not the champion in the bantamweights. In the featherweights, Amanda's the champion. And who else do you have that you can actually put against her in the UFC that's a righteous fight? In the featherweights. Nobody.
No one.
So if you're the UFC, do you take that chance? Now, here's the thing. If you're Chris Cyborg, you can take that and say, afterwards, if you lose it, you can go on your way. If you win it, you can go on your way. You can't fight anymore because you're going to be under contract to him. But is there any fight out there that will cement her legacy like that rematch? I don't see it. Even the Kayla Harrison fight.
I think, but John, I kind of think that the fact that Juliana Pena beat her, it diminishes that rematch.
Not in the featherweights.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I think that fight's been diminished. You lost to a 35-pounder.
What?
I'm just being honest. And it has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with.
But does Amanda fight better at 35 or 45?
I think she'd be better. I think
she fights better at 45.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, fat and happy.
Yes.
Most fighters fight better at fat.
Amanda, you're not fat.
She's not fat.
I hope you're happy.
She's not. She
Don't listen to Josh.
She's happy.
She's
a
cool individual.
She's happy.
Yes, and you do fantastic at 135.
She's not fat, but you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Did you just try to stick up for her because I just called a female fat?
Yes, I did.
It's fat.
Okay.
I'm all about. You're fat and happy as well.
I'm totally fat and happy.
And I'm not sticking up for you. No, look, for me, I honestly believe for her to cement her legacy, you want to talk about the Amanda Nunes fight, but I think she needs to go to PFL. Or if we can I would rather have a cross promotion.
Yeah.
Beating the fresh meat, someone who's undefeated, someone who is walking through all the talent that she is, all the hype, all the stuff that goes into it. I think it's for her to fight Kayla Harrison.
Wouldn't you like to see it?
I'd like to see a co-promotion.
I'd like to see a co-promotion with a ton of championship fights. I think it'd be a blast.
But here's the thing, is that we know, I don't know if the PFL will do it, but the man, what is it, the CEO? He came out and said he'd be interested in doing it.
Yeah, well, first off, you needed, and this is the problem. Saying you'd be interested and putting stuff out on social media means absolutely squat.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're not picking up the phone and you know that they have the number of the guy that can actually make it happen with them, and they haven't called him. So, is it really your intentions?
No, I don't know. They just paid a lot of money for her.
For Kayla, they paid a lot of money. Congratulations, Kayla.
Yes, Kayla, very happy for you. Your kids will never have to work again.
That's dang.
Insane.
That's good.
Your kids will never probably ever have to work. But good job. On top of that, though, I think that for Chris Cyborg to fight Kayla Harrison, whether it's a co-promotion or she just goes to the PFL, because there's no one left really outside of Arlene for her to fight here in this organization. So I would like to keep Chris. I would like Chris to stay here. But the issue is, though, is that we don't have anyone, and until we get a cross-promotion, why empty it? Because look, if Chris goes there, they're going to have to pay her just as much, if not more. So why not just put the co-promotion together for one fight, call it good, and we ride off into the sunset making a ton of money off one show? That's really what it's going to come down to. Otherwise, Chris goes over there, they're going to have to pay her. They're paying already Kayla. They're going to have to pay her. That fight, they can probably run maybe 3 times, depending on how close it is. If Chris knocks her out, or if Kayla subs her in one round, there may not be a part 2.
No.
Like, you know, they're going to force it eventually, but it's like it won't get as many views as the first fight.
You know, the PFL is talking. They're going to have a pay-per-view. Their next that look that you just gave.
Yeah, it's the one you had.
Exactly. It was because it's like, are you crazy? Yeah. But they're talking about their championship round.
Are they going to pre-record the pay-per-view so I can make some money?
Oh, that was cheap.
I can make some money?
That was cheap.
I'm interested. But that's going to cause a lot of problems as well.
That was a mistake.
That's going to be a huge mistake.
But they're talking about a pay-per-view. That championship run will not do a pay-per-view like Kayla versus Chris. Kayla versus Chris could be a pay-per-view. That could be a pay-per-view. People would buy it because they're interested.
It still wouldn't break 200,000 views.
I do think it would be close. It would be. I didn't say break. I say it'd be between 150 and 250, which is not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It depends on who else they put on the card.
Yeah, of course.
Just the two of them is not. You'd have to have.
But you could put just the two of them, or you could put all of the PFL's championship rounds, and those championship rounds won't do fucking half of what Chris and fucking Kayla will do. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Look,
if they were to stock that pay-per-view properly, if they did Kayla and Chris as the main, you have to have Ray Cooper on there. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
You have to have Ray Cooper on there. He's one of the most exciting fighters.
So if you took Ray Cooper and put Ray Cooper against either one of two, one of three, excuse me, Yaroslav Amosov, undefeated, right?
Yeah.
Or put him against the winner of MVP and Storley. Now you're talking more. Okay, now let's go and we'll just do another one. Let's go with the featherweights, or let's go with the. I don't want to say bantamweights because I don't. Does PFL have bantamweights? I don't think so.
I don't know.
It's close, but or you could go, take their fucking middleweight champion, put him against Gegard.
Yeah.
Come on, that now is starting to get interesting.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, I don't really want to see champion versus champion. Just
I do.
Both promotions end up hurting from that.
I don't think so.
If a champion loses, I think both promotions end up losing. Well, you got to put the most action-packed fights that people want to see without being champions.
Okay,
I've said that for the longest time.
So that
that was my pitch to the UFC. Like, hey, it doesn't have to be champion versus.
So
champion.
you can't put Ray Cooper in there because he's their champion.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but you can have the Russian kid that he beat. He knocked out. Mikhailov.
Magomed Karamov.
Magomed Karamov. Yeah, he's good.
He is good.
That guy's good.
So put him against Douglas Lima.
That would be a fun fight.
See?
I'd take that.
I'd take that. Go.
Yeah, I would take that. Ooh. Anyways, look, we're doing a wish list here right now, and we're getting off track.
All right, we're off track of the thing.
Okay.
So anyways, good win by Chris. Let's go to the Bantamweight Grand Prix.
Superstats. Rafion Superstats was getting his ass kicked for 2 rounds.
Okay, thank you very much because I had Juan Archuleta up.
Juan Archuleta looked fantastic. I was telling his manager Tiki when I ran into him after, I was like, I've never seen Juan look that good. Juan looked phenomenal. I've never seen him look that good. He's had movement. His wrestling was on point.
His wrestling was good. His speed was up.
His speed was up. Everything was on.
He was touching Rafion with up, down, into the body, back to the head. Rafion was confused.
Yeah, and that's why.
And he was confused by the wrestling because he didn't think anyone would come out there and try to out-wrestle him.
Oh, and he did some nice wizarding in the air too, by the way.
Oh. Dude, the one time he had him up, it almost reminded me of
Matt Hughes, GSP.
Nope, negative. Your man, Josh Koscheck versus GSP. Josh Koscheck, deep double, out doing the fight, has him up about 5 feet in the air, and GSP boom, right to his feet.
Yeah, but the Matt Hughes GSP one was just as good, if not better.
I don't think so.
Where GSP switched from one side of the wizard to the other side of the wizard in the air.
Oh, that's what he did to fucking
Josh.
He's got him in a double. There are pictures of him this high, up in the air, flat, horizontal.
He wasn't that high. It wasn't that high.
I've got the picture.
It was I do remember that takedown though. I do remember.
That's it.
Sorry, not the takedown.
I'm done. I'm going to be pulling up a photo. I've got
But Rafion Stott's head was landed some great straight lefts, was having some good action, but was getting outpointed. Juan Archuleta was picking him apart, was getting the takedowns, controlling the top position, putting good pressure, was landing combinations. The one thing that Rafion needs to change or not change, but he needs to make an improvement on, is he needs to throw more than just 1 and 2. Yeah. He got into the mix, he threw his 1-2, and then Juan would hit him with 3 and 4 because Juan throws in combinations.
That's right.
When you think about like guys like TJ Dillashaw or Cub Swanson, they don't just throw the 1-2, they throw 3, 4, sometimes 5 and 6. And so that's where Juan was getting the win of that. I don't know why he dipped his head. I don't know what he was doing, but man, Rafion Stotts hit him with that knee to the head, which was more of a kick than just where he ended up hitting his knee on the way down. It was very impressive on how Stotts was able to compose himself, keep himself still in the fight, but he was losing that fight.
Yeah. I had him down in the fight. The second round, right at the end though, when he gets Juan gets in on the takedown. Yeah. And Rafion starts hitting him with elbows. It was right in front of me. Those elbows were hard.
Were they?
And then you looked at his head afterwards. Oh, he had mark. It was like, yeah, that. And so it almost swung it over. I still gave it to Juan, but yeah those elbows were telling. And then the next round, the knee hit, and it was a kick, but the knee is what hit, and they put him down. And I know Juan was saying he wasn't out, but he definitely went. At one point, you saw him go, and then he got hit again. It kind of brought him back. So good win. Good win for...
good stoppage?
Yes.
That was Beltran.
That was a good stoppage.
That was Beltran.
Yeah, it was. But it was a good stoppage. Which is, it's not easy to do after all the fucking negative shit the night before and just one night.
You could tell it affected him.
Sure
he walked up to me earlier in the yesterday's fights. And I was like, shake it off, man. I go, it's a new night. New fights, get it together. He's like, I got it. I'm good. But yeah, you can tell it was on his mind. Next fight, Dave.
All right, next fight, Justine Kish and Elimile McFarlane.
Elimile just a long time off, long layoff. She looked a little slower. She just didn't come out with the way that she normally comes out when it comes to this, comes to fighting here in Hawaii. And Justine Kish just kind of just muscled her around a little bit.
That's exactly what she did. She was physically stronger. Yeah. Physically able to keep herself from being put on the ground in certain situations. Physically able to get herself to the top position in some of those scrambles. And I'm just going to say it. There was a fire that was missing. Yeah. Out of Elimile. There just wasn't that fire. There wasn't that tenacity that she brought before. It just wasn't there. Yeah, something was missing. And you could see it. And sometimes, it only takes one fight for people to change and that confidence to kind of go away and not be sure. And this is the fight. It really showed that the loss and the layoff, we call it cage corrosion. I think cage corrosion did have an effect on Elimile in this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. I also to wonder if she still has the spark. Yeah. There's a lot. She's done a lot in her short career, but knee injuries, and it does start to distract. She does that.
She's got a big, real problem.
She got a knee issue, a very bad one, and then just whether she wants to keep, she wasn't able to run for this camp, and it showed, I think, a little bit. She didn't have that output that she normally has in the third round. And the aggressiveness wasn't there. And so it's one thing to go out there and feel like your body's in shape, but it's another thing to go out there and feel like you're fight ready in that third round. And she didn't seem fight ready in that third round. But a gutsy performance by her, but came up short. Next fight.
Justine definitely deserved to win that
fight. Patrick Mix and Kyoji Horiguchi.
Yeah.
Look, I had all but kind of counted Patchy Mix out on this fight. And the only person who didn't, I think, was him. Because he came out. You changed your mind when we got here.
Oh, you liar.
So he just fought a good fight. He did what he got to do. And that first round was a 10-8 round, which I think kind of helped solidify him after that. Because then he
wasn't on the judges' scorecards.
It wasn't?
Nope.
Oh, I thought it was going to be
48-47, I think, across the board.
Okay. I don't think the fight was that close. He won. And this thing, all the hype of Horiguchi after his loss, even though all the hype coming in to fight Pettis, the way he dominated Pettis, and then the way he lost, and then coming back, like, he's pretty much just going to run through the tournament until he gets back to Pettis, and now he's out in the first round.
And,
if you're Dan Lambert, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, Dan Lambert was there, too. The Juan Archuleta fight taught Patchy Mix a lesson because he did not get frustrated. Yeah. In the Juan Archuleta, he got Archuleta's back. He wasn't able to finish, and then he started ending up fighting Juan Archuleta's fight. He tried to, instead of going and continuing on, getting him to take him to the ground, getting good positions and going for submissions or ground and pound, he started, I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to knock you out. A young fighter's mistake. And he didn't make the same mistake against Horiguchi.
Yeah.
At times he started chasing in the fight, and then you saw him kind of slow down. You could hear the call from his corner saying, slow down. It's okay.
Don't chase.
Don't chase him. And he would slow himself down, and it's just the maturity as a fighter. You're starting to see it a little bit. Apache believes that if he gets anybody to the ground, he's going to submit him. And that's a good belief, but sometimes it doesn't happen. It's not easy at times. And he's just got to continue on with it. I'm just going to make you work, and I'm going to put you in bad positions. And when I get these positions, I'm going to work for my submissions. But the one thing I do think he needs to do when he gets the back, he needs to land more shots.
Yeah.
Instead of, he's always looking for that submission, and that's good. And you can hold arms, and you can hold wrists, and you can do things. But if you get a free hand at time, instead of digging it for the submission, dig it for a couple of shots before and then go for that submission. Open him up and make him have to stop those shots. That's the only critique I can really give him of it. He didn't do that enough. But I thought he fought a masterful fight against a guy that is frustrating to no end as far as his ability. He's fast.
Yeah.
He's in and out, and he can make you look bad just with his speed, but
he has power.
It does, and he touched Patchy a couple times. Patchy's got a good chin.
Yeah,
he doesn't
found that
rattled.
out in the Juan Archuleta fight.
Exactly, he doesn't get rattled, and so he's moving on in the tournament here. It's a good win by him. He's got a good chance of going all the way.
He's got a good chance of being in the finals for sure. Because honestly, when you look at that side of the bracket, Magomedov's going to fight Barzola. And if Magomed wins, that puts him right into the position where he wants to be. He's like, you just want to take me down. Yeah. Cool. I'm cool with being on bottom. That's exactly. He's fine with being there. He'll get the sweeps. He'll get his back, whatever it is. And we've seen Magomedov, he sometimes will give his back because he thinks he can get out of those positions like he did with Rafael Stotts and like he did with Matos when he first fought Matos. Yep. Same thing.
Matos almost caught him.
Yeah. The fight and this is what's crazy, is Barzola is going to pose an issue for him because conditioning-wise, the ability to scramble, the ability never to settle. It's hard to be a grappler and fight at a very fast pace because you're constantly digging for submissions. You're constantly using your muscle retention, all of those things. Barzola is never letting you settle, never letting you rest, never letting you constantly make you work. I'm interested to see how Barzola is going to do against Magomedov.
I think he gives him problems. I really do. I think that in the beginning, Magomedov's going to be taking him down and controlling a lot of what he does, but he's going to make him work past that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Magomedov. He's grappling centric. He does do some things in the stand up. He likes the stand up and stuff, but pushing the pace on him is the way to get him to that point. Barzola's the guy that can do that.
Yeah.
And at 5 rounds, I would never want to fight Barzola for 5 rounds.
Yeah, I agree. All right, hey, let's give a little honorable mentions to some people that fought on the card. But Sumiko Inaba. She fought a great fight. She had a great knockout. I think she's got 3 knockouts, 1 submission right now under the Bellator banner.
Yep.
I believe I know it's 3 knockouts, but then one of them is a submission. She's got 4 finishes, so the other one's got.
She got 4 finishes total.
Yeah, so 4 finishes total. Phenomenal fighter. I swear I thought she was, and I'm not. I thought she was younger.
No,
she's like 30. How old is she? She's 30, 31?
31.
She looks like she's like 23.
Oh yeah, she does. She looks like she's 18.
I was like, what the heck? No, but she fought a good fight. Yancy Medeiros was able to fight here in Hawaii.
Damn, that was good.
Hasn't fought here since.
Yancy looked good.
He looked good.
His left hand was the difference in that fight. Look at him and Emmanuel. Emmanuel Sanchez fought a tough ass fight.
Going up in weight, by the way.
Going up in weight to face Yancy and going again in a hostile territory because this is Yancy's first fight since 2013 in Hawaii. Yeah. He was definitely the crowd favorite, which he should have been. Yeah. They finally at the end they point to the middle and they start throwing down and stuff, and you look and you go, yeah, that's a Hawaiian fight in Hawaii with a crazy ass Mexican in Emmanuel Sanchez. Yeah. It was beautiful. It was, and Yancy deserved the win. I thought the left hand, his jab was money.
Yeah.
At times, because it was a stiff jab too, man. It had power on it, and Emmanuel was getting to him a couple times. And you saw him getting a little bit tired at times, but it was just a back and forth brawl that was fun to watch. Great fight by both guys.
Bobby King had a good performance against Keone Diggs. That was
Really good performance.
tough fight for both fighters.
Keone had a
fight.
real hard time finding him.
Yeah. Yep.
The movement. And,
Well, a lot of it has to do with also, too, you can't just throw ones and twos. You got to sometimes throw that three, even if you don't think it's going to land, because some majority of the time it will land. You just got to believe and throw it. That's the hardest part.
but when you think it's going to put you out of position and you don't want to get hit by the guy, that's why you don't throw it.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's I thought Bobby King, he's really learned a lot from Dwayne Ludwig. Is the guy that's his coach, and his stand-up has improved so much, and he is elusive. He's hard to hit. You think he's within range, and you're throwing the shot, and it's missing by that much. And he did a really nice job. That's 2 big wins in a row for him. So,
what other fighters are on that undercard there? You want to give honorable mentions too?
I'm trying to remember which one I want.
I'm just being honest. Who? Oh, Justin Gonzalez.
Oh, Justin
Good
Gonzalez
fight with
against Kai Kamaka.
Good fight.
Man, that was a good fight. I thought I had that even going into the last round.
Yeah.
I thought Kai Kamaka, I don't know what happened. He was not throwing his right hand. He stopped throwing his right hand almost midway through the second. And I was like, he had to hurt his hand. I don't know if he did or not, but he became a one-sided. He was throwing his left. He would throw a hook. He would throw the jab. He wouldn't throw the right hand. He did every now and then, very seldom. So I don't know if he had a hand injury, but Justin Gonzalez stepped it up into that third round. He really started throwing a lot of kicks. A lot of good things happened, and went for his wrestling. Kai Kamaka did a great job of denying a lot of it. That was a great battle.
Yeah. Gonzalez is tough, man. Good fighter. Kamaka.
Only got one loss.
Yeah, Kamaka coming up short, but Kamaka finds himself in these positions where the fights are close.
Yep.
And you got to do a little bit more to win those fights because he's got all the ability. I've constantly talked about how good he is.
Good things about him,
he just needs to just get over that hump. I don't know what to do. I don't know. There's not much you can say. He's got to do it himself.
And then again, if you look at, I'm serious, if you go back and watch that fight, he becomes a one fucking sided fighter. He doesn't throw his right hand, and it's like, why are you not throwing it? Again, maybe he did hurt it. I don't know, but it sure seemed like it.
All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our Bellator talk. And like I said, we will give you guys a full preview on the UFC card once we both get home and get a chance to watch the whole card. That'll come on our midweek show. We'll have some news as well. Pocket Dave, give us one news thing that we can talk about real quick. Which one do you want to talk about?
All right, we'll keep it the theme Bellator since this was a Bellator heavy weekend. Scott Coker said that he thinks Patricio Pitbull and AJ McKee 3 is the next fight as opposed to anything else for that.
Well, when I talked to AJ yesterday mid show, and I said, "Hey, are you going to? What's the deal? Are you done with 45?" He's like, "No, I'm going to stay for that rematch." I'm like, "All right." So if that's the case, if he's going to stay at 45, and he's like, "I'm going to get that one back," and he didn't seem bothered by the decision. He's like, "Yeah, whatever." When I talked, he's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, it was upsetting, but what am I gonna do?" He's like, "It's late. It's over now." So they're gonna run it back. I mean, it makes sense. It really does. I was hoping to see maybe Pico and Mads Burnell or Pico and Patricio, but if AJ's gonna stay, I mean, honestly, it makes sense. You got to do the third.
You can't bypass Adam Borch.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
No, but we can see that rematch though between Adam Borch and
You could. Pico.
But AJ's gonna stay. Now you're gonna make Borch fight again.
What's up to Borch?
Yeah, that's tough, man. That poor
how
kid's
he
been
makes
waiting
money.
around for a while. Yeah, poor kid's been waiting. I don't think he wants that Pico fight. He shouldn't. I don't think anybody
I'll
wants
tell
that.
you what, off of the way he performed in his last fight, he was fantastic.
I don't think anybody wants that fight.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want that fight. I don't blame him. But I look at it, I'm glad AJ had that mentality because look, if you go back and you watch the fight, he left opportunities there. He left it in the hands of the judges as far as sometimes you didn't do enough to show them, I won this round.
Yeah.
And it's you got to learn from it and stuff.
You got to think, super young fighter.
Super young.
extremely talented, just made a mistake. He let the fight get away from him in terms of not doing what he knows he could have done. You've got to leave it all out there, and he knows he didn't leave it all out there. He knows that, and so hey, that's what happens. You leave it in the hands of the judges. That's what you're gonna get. But it is what it is. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up our talk. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show from my hotel room. Last time it was John's hotel room. So, no, we don't sleep in the same room, guys. Calm down. Calm down. I don't think Miss McCarthy would have liked that.
Nope.
So, but overall, we want to thank you guys. I know this was a heavy show in terms of Bellator and a little bit of the Tyson Fury talk.
PFL.
There was a lot going on this week, and we had with all the travel and everything. The next 2 weeks is going to be we're going to be home for a week, film some shows while we're there. But 2 weeks after that, the whole first 2 weeks of May, we are going to be on the road, Paris and London. So the shows may have to drop at different times. So make sure you hit that little bell.
But they'll be coming to you from hotel rooms like this.
Yeah, they'll be coming from the hotel rooms. Make sure you guys hit that little bell so you guys know when the show drops, the notification bell, and hit the subscribe button as well. Share our content to everyone, and I want to thank you guys. Go to weightinpodcast.com, pick up some of our merch as well that's available there. We've got sweaters, hoodies, long sleeves, short sleeves, new shirts that are up. The #and still is up as well. And the hindsight is 50-50. I could have used that because I used that the other day. Hindsight is 50-50. I love it.
Hopefully in this show you realize we are actually sitting next to each other.
Yes, the curtain in the middle, yeah.
I love that. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you guys. And John, take us away.
Everyone out there, man, hope you enjoyed the weekend as much as we did. There was a lot of fights, a lot more coming up. I hope you watch, and we will see you.